Because your kiss is on my list. Because your kiss, I didn't miss. Hello and welcome to the next episode of Matt and Todd Go to the Movies with special guest Tim Davis. This is the podcast where all three of us went and saw a movie at a local Regal Cinema Theater, and now we're going to talk about it in Matt's Time to Pilot in the parking structure right next to our Regal Cinema Theater. And we're going to talk about such things as, should you see this movie or should you not see this movie? Can you bring your kids? Should you bring a date? Should you go by yourself? Do you need to pay attention to every detail, or can you slack off and maybe nap, craft, or eat? You know, we try to talk about should you see it, should you not see it, and all that good stuff. We bring it hard every week, I feel. I am Todd Domer.
And I'm Matt Malloy, and we definitely bring it hard every week, Todd.
Yeah.
Yes. So this week we're bringing it hard in our discussion of the movie Sinners. So I'll throw it to you, Tim. Any famous folks in this movie that we would recognize?
Well, yes. Our lead is Michael B. Jordan, most famous, obviously, for the Creed movies, and also he was a Killmonger in Black Panther. Probably his biggest high-profile roles, but he's been around a while. I remember him in Chronicle, and I think didn't he win awards for Fruitvale Station?
Yeah, Fruitvale Station. Mm-hmm. He was in The Wire, and he was in
He's been around a while.
And,
big name, but obviously used to sell this. And then we also have Haley Steinfeld in this. She's right now in the MCU. She's Kate Bishop Hawkeye, but she's also been in a lot of movies. She was in Bumblebee. She was in the True Grit remake. Like, she goes back a ways. And then I would say, household name-wise right now, the director of this is Ryan Coogler, who works with Michael B. Jordan a lot. He also directed the first two Creed movies, as well as the Black Panther movies. Mm-hmm. So I would say that's it for recognizable names. There are recognizable actors in this. Delroy Lindo's been around forever. He plays an old musician in this. He's been in, I can't even name how many shows he's been in, but you'll know him when you see him. As well as the actress who plays the main TVA agent in the MCU also is in this. I don't want to butcher her name, but you'll know her when you see her.
All right. Well, so what is Sinners all about? Well, you've got two brothers, Smoke and Stack. Not their real names, but
both played by Michael Jordan.
Both played by Michael B. Jordan. So, yeah, these brothers are the facilitators of this movie. In that, they come back to a small Mississippi town in the 1930s, sharecropping days. They come back home from Chicago and other places that they've been around the world, and they have an idea that they're going to start like a nightclub type thing. And so the first part of this movie is about them kind of gathering people to participate in the kind of the production of the opening night of this nightclub.
And I would argue that their reputation precedes them, so to speak.
Yes, mm-hmm. Yes, they're known as bad boys on the block. Put it that way. Mm-hmm. So the first part is they're gathering like a bunch of musicians, a bunch of like people to help with food and tend the bar and do all this stuff, and so we get there, we get to the big night. There's a lot of music happening. There's some weird transcendent musical interludes that people from the past and the future are inserted into the montage of what's happening, and that's about the time where vampires show up. That's right, guys. Vampires. Vampires are very attracted to this music, and they want to come and
have a good time.
Have a good time by making more vampires in the way that you would expect. Biting. Lots of biting. Mm-hmm. And so then the rest of this movie, which I won't spoil too much about what happens, is kind of a standoff between the people inside and the vampires outside, and will they get in, and will they be invited in, and will they die, who will live, who will die, and it's a big showdown. So, that's what I'm going to say about Sinners. Mm-hmm. Todd, what are you going to say about Sinners when I ask you to share your gut reaction right now?
Green light, go.
Yes.
I'm gonna land on that I like this movie. But it's going to take me a little bit to get there, I think. Like,
Okay.
and that's not a bad thing. I think this movie has a lot to digest. Like, there's a lot in this movie, and even though sometimes it's not the main storyline, there's still just a lot at play. And I think some of the things that I really liked about this movie is that I thought this movie did an incredible job of building a world in the first like 40 minutes of this movie to immerse you in. Like, you get backstory, and it's all played through like just really good scenes. I thought, like, you kind of get the brothers' backstory a little bit. You get, how they know people. You meet people along the way, and I just thought every time a new character was introduced, it's not like it was done in such a great way that I'm like, whoa, mind bending. It more was like it was flawless, like it was effortless. It felt like. A character gets introduced, and then if you just wait 10 more minutes, you just learn more about them, and you're like, okay, I'm in. You are immersing me in this small Mississippi town of, plantations and still racism and stuff like that, and these brothers' lives, and I think that's what I like the most about this movie, is that I really felt like the world that they built, they did a really good job with. And told enough that you're not kind of missing a whole lot, and stuff was still a good kind of mystery. Clever characters, like, I mean, I would say the one character I had a problem with was kind of like the witch woman. It felt like they needed a character in there who could explain everything.
Yeah.
Because how are we going to get from point A to B? So it was like, we need one character who knows and is on the inside. But I felt like they did a really good job of building that character before we got to the point of that they're just spewing stuff out that makes sense and can further the storyline. It wasn't like all of a sudden this person becomes an expert on the matter. So it was a plot device, but I really felt like they did a pretty good job with it. Like, it still kind of was obvious at times, just like, well, of course this person has an answer because you need this person to further everything. But they built the character really well. So it wasn't like completely out of nowhere. I thought the acting was really good. Like, based off of the trailers, I was like, I don't know how this Michael B. Jordan double take's gonna go. But I thought it was pretty, like I said, everything just kind of flowed very well with this movie. I didn't feel at times, I wasn't like, let's wrap this up, or I wasn't like, this is boring, or like, let's get to an action scene or something. And something I saw in the trailers a lot in this movie that just, well, not saw, but heard in the trailers a lot that kept bothering me was that they just kept pumping that this is a genre busting movie. Like, and I was like, get over yourselves. But then, like, now that I'm outside the movie, I'm like, it kind of is. Like, and it goes even outside of like what the genre of the movie is. When it comes to even the music in the movie, it goes through all genres of music. Like, there are times where you're in blues and you're in like bluegrass and you're in like at one point there is like rock opera happening. Like, I mean, like, they go through almost everything through this movie, and it's done in a really good manner that I'm just not like, I wasn't like, well, where's this coming from or whatever. Like, I thought the music was really good and really immersive. And I am going to like this movie. I think it's a good movie, and I think everyone should see it. It is an R-rated movie, so like, don't bring your 5-year-old. It is built on suspense and a little bit of horror. But I thought the performances were good. I thought the idea of this movie was good. I thought the execution of this movie was good. There's a couple of things that I was like, I appreciated what they were going for in the big musical scene where you're seeing people from the past and future. I appreciate what they were going for. The scene felt weird at times. Like,
I agree with that.
And it just, for some reason, it didn't land hardcore with me. It wasn't bad, but that was one of the scenes where I was like, I see what you're going for, but I'm not sure if I can say we nailed it. Like, but in general, to end a rant here, I'm going to say go see this movie. I think it's worth seeing in theaters. I and I want to be careful with what I say because I don't want to ruin anything, but Tim and I were talking in the theater, and both of us were like, going into this movie, we were like, the trailer showed too much. You saw a fair amount of people who were going to be vampires at some point, like, and that during the movie that hurt it to me. Like, I was looking at all these characters, I was like, well, I know you get turned into a vampire, I know you, like, you know that already, and I was like, you know, so that was kind of frustrating. In the movie, I was like, I wish I didn't know that this person becomes a vampire, but, and as I was telling Tim, and this is going to be one of those movies that I'm going to be digesting for a while, but, and I'm not going to tell you what the ending is, but I almost feel like the ending of the movie was better to me because I knew too much in the trailers, and I didn't see the ending coming. And there's kind of two endings to this movie. There's the ending, and then the credits starts, and then there's a second ending. And I'm talking about the second ending. Like, I felt like the fact that I knew that people got turned from the trailers kind of took it out of my mind that, like, I just didn't think that kind of wrap up at the end was going to happen. And it almost enhanced the ending to me. Like, now, I can't say for certain whether or not if I had known who was or wasn't going to be a vampire, that might have enhanced the movie too. But I do think, because I was pretty vocal about this trailer, that I was like, it might have enhanced the actual ending of the movie to me a little bit. Like, so I can see maybe why they did that. But hard to say. It could have been, you know, it's going to get a high score, but it could have got a higher score if I really didn't know who was going to become a vampire and it just was a mystery the whole time. And you're like, whoa, like... So, anyway, I'm going to pass it off, but I'm going to say go see this movie. It was worth it. I enjoyed myself. And I mean, I really, really liked the music. Like, the music is very, very good in this movie, I thought. At least to my ears. So, Tim?
Yeah, Todd, I think I'm right there with you. I'll also lead off with, I ended on the liking scale of this movie.
Yeah.
But like you said, there's stuff to think about, and there's stuff to... Some scenes didn't work, but I appreciated what they were trying to do, or I, you know, thought, oh, they could maybe hit this a little bit harder, or maybe we could have had a little more of this and that. But they're minor quibbles to what I thought was overall an interesting movie, and that took it in some directions that I wasn't expecting, even though there were some things, like you said, the commercials did have you expect. I do think if you're listening to this podcast and this is your way of hearing about this movie, I really think the vampire twist is even better if you don't know it. But I don't know how you can, because it's just they made sure that you knew going in. But those first 40 minutes and even leading up to the club scene, I thought were clearly shot in a way to be a reveal. And I think that reveal is even better if you go into this blind. But if you're listening to this podcast, you won't be going into it blind. So I do wonder about the people who are going to just stumble upon this movie and go, oh, I didn't know this is where this was going. And I feel like that feeling would have been really cool to feel. But that's not a knock on the movie. I mean, you've got to, like Todd said to me when we were talking, you got to sell it on something. And otherwise it just looks like a race drama in the 30s. And we've seen plenty of those movies. So, like you said, this is a genre kind of busting movie, but in a good way. I think, you know, you're playing with historical drama, you're playing with supernatural horror, and you wouldn't think those two would work, but it does. And I'd say the first half of the movie is pretty serious, character driven, and then when it gets to the climax, there's some humor, there's some unsettling, there's some, and like other emotions that you wouldn't expect to feel in a movie like this, and I thought it worked. And the audience is right there for it. And I felt like our audience here at this theater kind of woke up as the things revealed, in a good way, where we were all kind of on the same page and people start talking to the screen.
Yeah.
And
Shut
I
up,
think
people. Don't talk to the freaking screen when you see a movie.
But that
really, listening to this podcast.
I know. But I do think in this movie it enhanced the scenes that started happening in, to me, because I think that happens, you know, sometimes organically because people are so invested in the movie that they can't help but react.
I can't get behind you on that because the people right behind us were the stereotypical, oh, don't go in there.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Run. I'm like, shut up.
I didn't mind. I thought it was fun. Again, because I think it was kind of an organic reaction based on how the movie was playing out. Because they spent this great amount of time getting you to know these characters. Interesting, well-developed characters. They weren't just like, here's the cynical guy, here's the old guy, no, they all had depth and stories, and I think that made it so when the big scene starts happening, you care what's going on. And yes, a lot of movies set those tropes up, but I thought this was better done than most of those. So yeah, I'm with you. I thought this was an interesting vision here, and lots of good stuff. I agree with you on the big musical scene. I get what they were going for. It was still a little weird, and at times where it almost took me out. Not in a bad way, but I was just like, yeah, okay, all right. But then when they kind of reverted back to how the vampires were looking at it, I was like, okay, that's what you meant by that. I get it. Okay, I'm fine. I was back on board. So yeah, overall, yeah, I agree. The music is great. All the acting is great. I actually like that the Michael B. Jordan characters felt distinct. Mm-hmm. To the point where, and they're so good at the editing these days and the quick cuts that it really felt like two different people were there.
Yeah.
And they've really gotten seamless with that. So I think all in all, I do recommend everybody should see this movie. I mean, if you're into it and want to see this kind of movie, I think it's very good and it's worth talking about just like we are now. Matt?
I thought that the beginning, the first 2/3, the first 3/4 of this movie were very, very good. For all the reasons that you both have already mentioned. The world building, the acting, the story. Like, I was really into this for the story component of it. Mm-hmm. Like, I was like, what's going to happen to these people?
We all agree it was very strong.
What is going on here? Yes. Even the vampires. When the vampires came, I was all in. I was really like, what are the rules for these vampires? So what are we gonna do? Like, what affects them?
Rules or
all these things, and I was really. This movie, more than anything else, kept my curiosity active the whole movie, and I was always like trying to figure things out and trying to look ahead and be like, oh, that's what we're gonna do. Okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
I even liked the big musical number. I thought it was really cool. Mm-hmm. The ending to this movie brings it down a little bit to me. I thought it was a little too chaotic after what we got for the first 3/4 of the movie. It descended into a lot of chaos at the climax there that I thought was, I don't know, it just didn't feel as clean and as flowy as the rest of the movie.
It was pretty jarring because, like, the movie sets up pretty hardcore. Okay, we need to survive the night. We're waiting for the sun.
Right.
That's what to do. And then at a turn of the hat, it just, nope. Like, plan A can't happen, boom, and you're off to the races. And that was very jarring.
I think that was on purpose. I think they wanted it to be.
Yeah. I think they did too. I would have preferred a different choice.
I get you. That's fair. And that's fair too.
I mean, I still had a good time with this movie. I still really liked it. But to me, the ending brings it down just a little bit. I'm still going to say go see it. And like I said, I had a good time. So, yeah, if you want to see some good world building and some great story and some good acting, watch this movie.
Yeah, and I think I agree with you that, like, until we got the second ending, when I thought the first ending was the ending of the movie, I was like, no, thank you. Like,
I agree with that.
I was like, you left too much out there. Like, I just can't. Because I thought it was going to be an artsy-fartsy ending. Like, and that's what the first ending is. It's very artsy-fartsy.
Yeah, and I was almost like,
and I was like, come on. And then we got the second ending, and I was like, well, now you just played with my emotions. Like,
yeah,
I'm all over the place right now. I can't figure out where I am.
I really dug the second ending. I am with you.
And then we got the third ending.
And then we got the third ending,
well,
which has nothing to do with anything.
No, the second ending I thought put the bow on it for me. I was good.
Well, getting down to it here. How many cloves of garlic would you give this movie?
Good one.
Oh, yes.
Which comes to play in this movie in a big way.
And a great callback scene to another movie, I thought.
Yeah, I thought that too. Because I mean, like, we're talking about the same thing, right? You're thinking about the Thing, right?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, all right.
Yes,
yeah.
very much. I thought that was a great way to do it.
And I over the next couple of days as I dissect this movie, there's going to be, I'm not sure where I'm going to land on how, I thought this movie stole some stuff too.
I think it meant to.
And my biggest thing that I'm going to be wrestling with is, as I've been thinking about it since it popped in my head, is that this movie is basically From Dusk Till Dawn, the Quentin Tarantino movie.
Yeah.
It is. The more I think about it, I'm like, it's so very similar. Like two different settings, but it's like the same thing. It's a world building thing for like the first 45 minutes, and then boom, vampires. You're like, what?
That's a good comparison.
Yeah. I don't think it like. I don't think they like they copied it or anything.
No.
I'm like, if I think now that I'm thinking about that movie, I'm like, well, now I wish From Dusk to Dawn didn't exist, because this is a far better movie to me.
Oh, I agree. Yeah. Dusk Till Dawn is a Tarantino type thing, and
right.
Yeah.
All right, so 0 being the worst because then you have no cloves of garlic and you can't cook or ward off vampires with that. You're just flapping out in the wind.
Right.
5 being the best because then maybe you can fend off some vampires and make yourself a little tasty sauce or something. Whatever you need to do. So Matt.
Well, it's interesting. We were talking about genre busting and that this movie participates in the dabbles, if you will, in the genre busting.
Yes.
And I immediately thought of Hard Eyes, a movie we reviewed, which was quite genre busting.
Right.
Yes, the meet cute slasher.
Yeah, right. Rom-com slasher. And I was just curious. I was like, oh, what was the rating on that? And I gave Hard Eyes a 3.42, something out of something.
Yeah.
But Sinners, I'm right there. Same kind of level of enthusiasm for it. I gave it a 3.4 cloves of garlic out of 5. And so I would say go see.
It was tire iron. Was it tire iron death scene or something? Like
there was one.
No,
Yes.
I mean, like, was that the rating system?
Oh, maybe it was. I don't remember that.
Maybe.
Yeah.
That was the scene that put it over the top for me.
So,
anyway.
Tim?
Yeah, I'm right in with you, Matt. Like in that same area, because to do these two genres and smash them together and have a fun time. I'm with it. I am at a 3.6.
Nice. I don't say this a whole lot about movies that I walk out of, but I'm looking forward to seeing this movie again at some point. So I can really kind of, because now that you know everything, you can go back and watch a movie and just see all the little nuances and just see all the stuff. But who knows how that second viewing will make me feel about the movie. But right now, walking out of this movie, I'm at a 4.0.
Nice.
There were some definite minuses, but on a whole, I was engaged the whole movie. When it was super suspenseful, I was squirming in my seat. And I appreciated that you got some gore, but it didn't go super over the top. I appreciated that. Because I feel like, it was enough to satisfy someone like Matt, who wants to see that kind of stuff, and it wasn't enough to make me go, ugh. So I'm like, it just was nice in that middle spot. So yeah, I'm saying go see this movie. I think it's an interesting, good movie. 4 for me.
Okay.
There we are.
Yeah, there we are. All right. Last thoughts?
If you've never seen From Dusk Till Dawn, go see this movie first. Don't see From Dusk Till Dawn.
Fair enough.
I mean, you can see it at some point, but see Sinners first. They're so similar, but so different. And Sinners is a much better movie to me.
All right. Very good. Well, that's going to wrap it up for this episode of Matt and Todd Go to the Movies, where we reviewed the movie Sinners. We gave it an average rating of 3 2/3. That's 666 repeating. And that's the highest we've rated anything since we saw the movie Heretic, which we also rated the same.
Another great movie.
The same level there. So 3 2/3 garlic cloves out of 5 is a great score. We all enjoyed this one and would recommend you see it. We would also recommend you listen to our podcast as you're doing. Download, subscribe, and keep doing all those things. And we will see you next time.
Da 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 da
Da-da.
da da da.
Da-da-da.